Hello there, Kim coming out to you, Clutter Coach and online entrepreneur. And it's been a long time since I've come out in a Facebook Live, so I wanted to say hello. I wanted to talk about this message that I posted there that I'm going to speak about. Before I do that, I just want to introduce myself and say what my mission is that I liberate women who have been struggling with clutter for most of their lives, and I help awaken them to their purpose so that they can be present with loved ones in their lives and they can feel empowered and in harmony with what it is that they want to be doing and have the time to do so. So I posted that you've asked your family to help, you've asked friends to help, and why you're struggling with that. So let's get on to that. So you decided, this is the weekend. This is the weekend to do it. You're going to get on to it, but you need your family's help, and they should help. They live there with you. And so you announce to your husband, your spouse, your boyfriend, your partner, and if you are single and living on your own, I'll talk about that in a second. But you say, we're going to do it this weekend. It's Saturday. I want to organize the garage, the basement, the house, the whichever area. And they're like, great, okay, well, who are we going to call? Who are we going to call to haul out all this junk? What about you got junk or moving guys? And you're like, no, we have to go through it all. I need your help to find out what is what and where it all is and what we're going to do about it. And they throw up their hands, roll their eyes, and pretty much the conversation stops there or the argument escalates. So that doesn't really get you anywhere. Or maybe you ask your kids to help. They're teenagers. After all, they should be contributing to the home. Half of it's their stuff anyway. They need to learn. And so you either guilt them into it, or you pressure them into it, or you bribe them into it. And maybe you do actually get started with them. And it ends up being pretty much a waste of time because they're disgusted with the bags that are dusty and dirty and they don't really want to go through it. They're slow. So they start dumping stuff behind your back and you realize that they're throwing out stuff that you find really important and that really matters to you. And so you just shoo them out of the room. You'll do it yourself. You'll just do it yourself like you always do every time. And there you are, left again, overwhelmed. And how are you going to handle it by yourself? So maybe you're at work after this weekend and you're talking about this with a friend or a family member and they're like, oh my God, I love to do that stuff. I watch those shows all the time and I'll help. I don't mind helping you. I'm really organized. And you're like, no, it's too much. It's, really, and you're feeling like embarrassed or you would feel embarrassed. But anyway, they convince you and you guys do decide and agree on a date and your friend comes over and it is embarrassing and it is difficult. And you start in anyway and they're trying not to judge you, but they are. And you're feeling pushed and they're shoving stuff in corners and in cupboards and you don't know where that stuff is going and you're starting to feel panicked. And they're also talking about your stuff like it's junk. So this really isn't going anywhere and this is really not helping. And then you also feel guilty because they did take their Saturday to help you. And, it kind of ends awkwardly and isn't really that successful. So I've even spoken to women who have lost friendships based on that exact scenario. So you don't want that to be you. So there you are, left at square one again. And your family can't help because you probably inherited most of that clutter from your family in the first place. And they're too close to this. So what are you going to do? And why are you in this predicament? Why don't they get it? And why don't they feel it the way you do? So I want to tell you, first of all, that you're not broken. There's not something wrong with you. You do have a stronger emotional attachment to your stuff and they don't. And that's why they can't help, okay? You feel very differently about your stuff than they do. So let's talk about the different emotions about clutter and what you may be feeling. So there's certainly just the general overwhelm from years of accumulation, years of stuff, and looking at tackling it all, especially on your own, and especially when it causes so much angst or stress or worry, is really difficult and overwhelming. So there's that as one of the emotional issues with clutter. Some of it can be guilt clutter. You know, people gave you these things, they cared about you, they gave you a gift, and it really wasn't your style, wasn't your taste, but it was so nice that they thought of you. And that gift has ended up collecting dust or in that closet or wherever, and it's now clutter. But you can't give that up. They cared enough to give you that gift. Guilt clutter. Then there's also just in case clutter, the worry of you might need it one day. So if you get rid of it now, what if? What if? So there's worries and concerns and fears about letting go of that. And that's a big emotional attachment for people. And then there is the just in case guilt. Oh, the dream clutter. So, you know, you got really excited one day, you went to a workshop on scrapbooking or painting or photography, and it was so fun. And so you invested in all that stuff. And most of that stuff has been sitting off to the side in those bags that you bought them in. But if you could just clear that back room, that's going to be your crafting area or the whatever thing that you wished you would be doing. And that's really hard to give up, because it's not just giving up the stuff that you never used or you hardly used, but it's giving up on the dream. And it's really discovering maybe you're just not that person that you thought you were who would be this crafter, or you just didn't have the time. And so that's that dream emotion clutter. That's really hard to give up on. So these are some of the struggles that you're having with this stuff. And I want to tell you that you're not alone. You're not alone. There are over 500 women in my Facebook group, Clutter Busters, and there are almost 450 people here on this business page. So that's just that. And there are more of you out there. So first of all, you're not alone. But how do you deal with that? So you've got to realize that it's not just about the clutter. It goes much deeper, much further below the surfaces. And this is why people who don't do this professionally for a living can't help you with it. They care about you, but they don't get it. They don't understand. And so it takes going much deeper. You've got to unlock those blocks, those emotional things that are keeping you so attached to your clutter. And that may sound scary. I know, I talk about this with people all the time, about letting go and releasing without fear to embrace your future. And I know you don't feel like that right now, and it's hard, but that is really the key. That is really the key. And that's really hard to go about on your own. That's why you've been struggling for years. And you don't want to keep struggling for years. You really want to enjoy your family and your home. I mean, you never thought that your home was going to be a time capsule for the past, right? You wanted to have people over and have parties and enjoy your family and come home and be relaxed, not stressed. So this is what I talk about with people. And if you're struggling with all that, then just give me a call. It's okay. I can offer you a free breakthrough session, and we can talk about these difficulties you're having. We'll talk about where you're at, where you want to go, and what you want to do about it. And if I can help you get there, I'll let you know. Okay, so I'm going to put a link in the comments section, and it is how you can book a call with me. It's really simple. You just go to my online scheduler, pick your time. You'll go to a little quick form, fill it out. It's just a couple of questions that will help us get clear on what we're going to talk about. And then I'll call you at our scheduled time. And it'll be really valuable time spent on yourself and your clutter and what's going on in your home. Okay? So give me a call. I'll tell you what it is, and then I'll put it in the comments, kimsneath.com/book. Okay? So I hope to speak to you soon.